Hey everyone. I had a horrible night's sleep. Uh, Only got a few hours in. That's okay. Well, I was able to get to my morning routine a little bit faster. Anyway, there was a thing I had been thinking about for, last a few days, a little while, whatever. Uh, I had made a video on my other channel, which I deemed as awkward conversation. And it is and it isn't. Anyway, yes, this video is gonna be about me talking about my penis. A lot of people don't feel comfortable about going on the internet and talking about it unless they're hiding behind memes. So they're not really talking about it. They're just, doing an editorial, basically. I already said, look, I don't like making memes because on the other end, some whomever can, alter the words and say whatever you want. Like, I did make I'm sure someone has thought of a similar meme. But I've made comparisons. I've just been looking at the scary nympho meme. Um, Obviously, I don't have any women in my life that are anything like that, um, so far as I know. Um, but in fact, light of my social media and everything about it, undoubtedly, I'm going to run into people like that into the future. That at this point in time seems rather unavoidable. Uh, I mean, it's whatever. It's not really a big deal or anything. But one thing I kind of noticed was an emphasis on, really hurting a man by, hurting his junk. And that is a vulnerable area for men. Uh, I mean, I'm speaking for myself here. Uh, that um, I had antipsychotic medication, which could have obliterated my members. It didn't. It could have, but it didn't. Uh, so that was something to think about. And as far as the erectile dysfunction that comes with basically any antipsychotic, um, mine is within reason. It works still, but ideally not as well as I'd want it to, and not as well as it used to either. Um, as I said before, there are medications that can sort of fix this. In fact, I was prescribed one where the doctor didn't specifically say that's what it was going to do, but I did notice that while I was taking it, that my stuff appeared to work a bit better. And I was on like a very low minimal dose. I don't like taking medications at all. If I could avoid it, I wouldn't take anything at all. And men shouldn't feel ashamed when they see, porn on the internet and the guys have got, 8-inch dicks and things like that, because 99 out of 100 of those guys that are on porn websites, they cheated. They took drugs to make their junk bigger. And you know, you want to do that, you're taking your chances because anything could go wrong with that stuff. There's no guarantees with medication. Um, so there's that. And also that's all for propaganda because they don't want you to watch porn on the internet. They want you to go out there in the real world and get action. But there's a lot of inherent dangers everywhere, and right now a lot of it in mainstream society is orientated towards sexual connotation. I mean, you get the vague message on the mainstream media on the television saying, LGBT, whatever. And on the internet, depending on what porn you watch, it can have a hypnotic effect on you. I didn't ever feel as though it had any sway over me, um, and like the thing is, I've lived in a bubble for a very long time. Actually, probably my entire life I've been in a bubble. 31 years. I've never been with a woman. Uh, like, yeah. I didn't need to be because I was doing other work. Working on my social media, conditioning my brain to be able to interpret certain information without, having a total mental breakdown or anything like that. Because I know things that are, they're intimidating, and you wouldn't be normal if you weren't concerned about these certain things. Anyway, this video is specifically going to be about my junk. Um, the scary nympho. Um, I've seen some memes of hers. I've looked them up, where she claims she's gonna bite someone's dick off, or their balls. Their balls are probably easier. They're a lot more vulnerable. That would hurt a whole lot. I mean, obviously, the person who would do that would be punished, as they would deserve. Um, but I also heard a few jokes about what they call not being circumcised. And I think that is an incorrect word for it. I think the more appropriate term is for someone that has been circumcised is that they've been mutilated. Because that's the truth. A lot of people don't come out and say that, but it really is what it is. Someone came along, it wasn't your decision, and chopped a bit of your dick off. I mean, in Africa, when they do all those fucked up things to people, like put, bones through their noses and plates in their mouths, and you get the people who are, put ear piercings with giant ugly holes in them. Uh, that's mutilation. If you're into that thing, then yeah, keep it to yourself. And don't spread the gospel of mutilation to impressionable minds. Like, fuck off, you fucking nutcase. And I say not circumcised is an incorrect term because it's normal penis. That's what a penis is supposed to look like. That's the reason why we have them in the first place. And there's multiple reasons why men have um, penises with a hood on it. Um, it's actually, I think it's more for guys who don't get a lot of action, unfortunately. And like you're off at sea, doing your thing, or you're on some expedition or whatever. There ain't gonna be any women around because they can really mess up with morale and things like that. You go find private, quiet moment and you relieve yourself. And the thing is, if, as a hypothetically speaking, I obviously don't know firsthand, but uh, men who have been circumcised do not derive the same sort of pleasure from it. I think because it decreases sensitivity, I think I read somewhere. I'm sure there's a bunch of other things it does as well. And the reason why circumcision, however many years ago, like probably 1,000 years ago, whatever, um, came about was, well, it originated from the Middle East because there wasn't much water around, from what I gather, and therefore they were unable to wash their junk, and they got bacterial and fungal infections. So I guess for that time period, that made sense. Although if I were back there at that time period, I would make the point of using what little water I had to wash my junk. I just would. Or I'd be near a source of plenty of water, believe me. I think that was the rationale behind it, and Judaism, really enforces it. It's basically for a time it was very mandatory and and so much in the United States as well as a lot of other places. Um, I was gifted with the with advanced thinking, um, that it's there for a reason, therefore it shouldn't be cut off. Um, Now, Scary Nympho, there are some women out there who do think a circumcised penis looks better. And I guess from certain angles, aesthetically speaking, maybe it does for magazine posts and things like that. I would think so. But a normal penis, as I described, you pull the hood back, okay, and it basically looks the same thing. In fact, it gives something for the woman to play with. Um, and some other arguments were that uh, circumcised mutilated penises actually decrease the chance of STDs. And you go, well, I suppose that could be plausible, but you could have a 0% chance of getting an STD if, I don't know, you like don't stick your penis in something disgusting. Why don't you try that? That sounds like a logical idea to me. Like, why tempt fate? Uh, like, use your brains. I mean, yeah, who knows? Uh, to each his own, I suppose. Not everyone's circumstance is the same. Although there are people who like to rope people into a certain category, and that's it, they're in that category, and they get blamed for everything that category as a whole has been responsible for, which is complete bullshit. Um, and I am so tired of people who are just looking for excuses to perpetuate their belief system, and they don't look at people as individuals. They look at them as a mass of people, and it's very easy to judge that way. It's a lazy way of doing it too. The problem is, as one expression goes, there's too many Indians and not enough chiefs. Um, or is that how it goes? There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Well, actually, in a capitalist society, I would say there are too many Indians and not enough chiefs. I mean, the system of power needs to be evenly distributed, but they're having difficulty finding middle management that's not smart enough to get around the upper management. So everyone's got to be stupid. Anyway, this is a little bit off topic. I was gonna talk just about my penis here. Um, yeah, I have a normal penis. Um, it hasn't seen any action, which is a bit of a downer, but I ain't too bothered about that because in the future things will get a bit better. Um, I'm just there's multiple things to be concerned about. It's not just scary nympho woman, although that is a significant problem. Um, Keeping in mind, I've not met this woman yet. I just know that there's one out there somewhere. Uh, Probably multiple of them, actually. In fact, I don't even have any clue how many there are of them. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what else was I gonna say? I had another really good point to bring up, but I forgot what it was. Um, just give me a second here. Um, It is still very early in the morning for me, so cut me some slack. Um, oh yeah, right. Uh, you have to expect that people will get mad at the very idea that you don't actually want to meet a lot of people. You don't want to know a lot of people. And they go, well, why would you have gone to social media in the first place if you didn't actually want to meet a lot of people? And I wouldn't mind uh, meeting some people, but obviously most people, it's gonna be strictly business. Like uh, oh, you've got a crazy nympho compartment in your brain. Yeah, that's nice. Fuck off. I don't have to care about you. Um, I mean, from my experience, I've known that no one cared about me for the longest time. So other people's feelings, are very like yeah, and anyway, like I don't mean to sound like a total prick about it, but I will be the one making decisions on exactly what my junk is doing and what it is not. And I know that is going to make people mad. And you will get examples where they manipulate the social atmosphere around you to whatever their design. Because guys like me, I've been in a bubble for so long, they've had a lot of time to premeditate, um, whatever it is that they, whatever they plan to do to a guy like me, I don't know. Had too much time to think about it, actually. And at this point in time, I have to go out there and assume everyone's a compulsive liar and that they can't be trusted. It wouldn't be rational otherwise for me to think anything else. And there are many ways that a man's penis can be attacked. I mean, there's the physical aspect of it from a woman. Uh, in my case, it was the medical aspect with antipsychotic medication. There's humiliation of various sorts. Um, like quite often, the first weapon a woman uses against a man is by insulting their penis, by saying it's small. I've heard like small as a tic tac, this, that, and the other, right? And um, in the sense of the amount of women I've gone with, because I'm not a promiscuous person. Um, like that. Okay, fine. Someone could say you have a non-existent penis because it's not by my design. Trust me, it's because the world around me doesn't allow me to use it properly. Um, so you take that with a pinch of salt. Like if someone's gonna hurl an insult at you like that, you kind of ignore them and go, yeah, whatever. Because one thing you got to know is that there will be a point in time where women hurl these kinds of insults, and us men are just gonna look at it and go, yeah, you're kind of saying that because you're a woman, and like what you have to say in that regard is to be taken with a pinch of salt because you're a woman. Uh, that is profiling, and that's not fair. And I wish it weren't like that, but like I'm seeing, like I know it's self-evident that that's what it is. Um, and the thing is, the world, they like guys like me, 31 years old, never been a woman, supposedly doesn't know anything. He's an airhead. He's an idiot. Um, you know, he's able to uh, manufacture a YouTube channel that gets quite popular. A lot of people deny this, of course, but they're just lying, compulsive lying. Um, and therefore fresh meat on the open market. That's the way a lot of people look at a guy like me. And like the old saying goes, even a rose has its thorns, and I have thorns, and it's not because somebody else put them there. It's because I have thorns. Um, I'm not stupid, and I ain't no man whore. I'm not gonna, go around and be extra promiscuous for, whatever reason, because I don't like the idea of not being uh, somewhat able to make decisions. I don't have to completely make decisions. It doesn't have to be that way at all. I'm not OCD. It doesn't have to be a certain way on most things. Like there's very few things where I have that complex where it has to absolutely be my way. Very few things, and those things they don't get me angry. It's just I use my superior intellect to get what I want in that regard. Um, yeah, so I've brought up a few things. Been talking for 20 minutes about it was gonna be about my junk, but I had to bring up some other things. Um, yeah, I mean, from a certain perspective, Scary Nympho Woman is scary because don't really know what's going on in their head, right? And you kind of, you know, if they've learned this stuff off the internet, um, and they haven't been properly conditioned on how to interpret that information, then, it it sounds like bad news. It's like there's multiple times where sociological experiments have been done by so-called professionals on the new generation of people, and they have not been successful, or things didn't go as planned, or whatever. And introducing certain social stimuli, such as Scary Nympho Woman, to the wrong sort of people can create very wrong results. And people have to understand that, okay? Whatever their pre-established bias is, whether, they had a rough childhood or whatever, or, um, things just like it is very complicated, okay? Like the world's a mess, and it still is a mess, and it probably will be a mess for a very long time. Uh, I mean, I could be bitter. I could be resentful, and all that over well, mental health treatment of me, and basically uh, they almost chemically castrated me. In one sense, they kind of did because like I've hardly had any conversations with any women at all, uh, especially in the last few years. But I'm not particularly worried about that. Stuff still works down there. Any imperfections can be, remedied. Uh, Bare minimum, of course. Like I don't even want to touch pharmaceutical stuff. Like I really don't. And the actual size of the penis isn't the issue, because mine, when it's working properly, is perfectly fine. Um, I know some of the things I've said is not what people want to hear, and it's really psychotic when you think about it, that there are people I've never even met who are making decisions on what's going to go on in my life, and they undermine my authority to make decisions. Yeah, well, the thing is, when I meet these people, we're going to have a very pleasant conversation. And after we have that very pleasant conversation, they're going to understand that it doesn't matter if it's their loss. They can either cooperate with my decision making or they don't. and I would recommend that um, they take the first option, because if this is a battle of the wills and who's going to get their way and whatnot, I have the best cards in the deck. I'm going to win, and I don't have anything to be concerned about. Um, I'm the victim here, actually. I was unfairly persecuted for things that weren't my fault, or had nothing to do with me, or um, well, I shouldn't have said it in that way. Like, I mean, like, I didn't. Forget about that part, okay? Like, as far as my social media goes, um, there isn't a single video I made that I wouldn't take down myself, actually. I mean, obviously there were some that weren't very good, and I didn't try to speak in a manipulative manner, but inadvertently I did. I don't know, like, I didn't think of it that way as I was making the videos. Um, but the thing is, my harmless gesture for content to the internet, um, that was one thing. But what with people were able to do with that content is not my responsibility. I didn't have a say, didn't even know they existed. Um, and, although I said I wouldn't take down any of the videos I made, um, I may have said some things a little bit better if I, wasn't drunk at the time. Um, yeah, yeah, they were just kind of like, it could have been done better, sort of thing. And yeah. So yeah, my main concerns are yeah, this attack on my penis that is most certainly going to happen. I'm expecting to get names hurled at it. I am expecting, I don't know. I'm just not convinced it's totally safe. That's the bottom line. And I am totally capable of making proper decisions on what my members are going to be doing. Um, I know other people would not look at it that way, and this video will not change their minds, but anything they've got to say, anything they're going to do, isn't going to change my mind. That's, a bridge I'm going to have to cross when it arrives. Um, yeah, um, yeah, it's such a complicated subject, and I'm doing this all off the top of my head. Like, I don't write this stuff down, or any of that. That's not how my brain works. Like, I organically think of ideas and make videos out of them and things like that. Yeah, I'm a little bit weary, distrustful of my surroundings, particularly on the internet. Like, I have no idea who watches my videos, and odds are I probably dislike them. Um, at least most of them, anyway. And well, you know, um, there are people out there, if they're disappointed because I didn't turn into the person they thought I was going to, then that's kind of along the lines of too fucking bad. Don't give a shit about your problems. You didn't care about mine when I had them. You don't care about them now. You've had too much time to manufacture lies, so it's not like anything you say now can be trusted. I mean, I'm the one here who's put up over 70 hours worth of content, and I've not seen any of theirs. I don't know any of them. I don't like they're anonymous. And I don't mean that stupid Guy Fawkes Max. I mean, just hiding behind fake Facebook profiles or um, making decisions in boardrooms where I'm not there or any of that sort of stuff. Um, well, this video's gone over 30 minutes now. It's just reached the 31-minute mark. One thing, you know, more aesthetically speaking, towards the penis, which is what I was bringing up, um, is that the hood is a good thing. It's supposed to be there because it's a Jewish conspiracy to cut the thing off. Some people think it makes it look bigger, but it is mutilation. Uh, I seem to remember that I knew a guy years ago who talked about how he got his dick pierced, and I went, "Yeah, you do that, and I'm not doing that. That's your business. Uh, don't even try to suggest that it should be mine." Because yeah, there are people out there. Peer pressure is a real thing, and there are people who will try to tell you what to do, one way or another, and you absolutely do not listen to those people. It doesn't matter who they are, because I don't care if you're in a position of authority. I don't care if you garner a lot of respect or any of that stuff. You get in my way, and I mean, we're gonna lock horns. There's no getting around it. And that's the other aspect of the crazy nympho woman, is that crazy nympho woman is, beautiful woman. No reason she doesn't have other guys around. And, crazy nympho woman has, a little crybaby fit and doesn't get her way. Sometimes that makes the men that are around her angry. And they may look at a guy like me and, want to tenderize me. And bring it on. Bring it on. If I have to defend myself, I will, and I won't have a problem doing it. If I do not like a bitch, I am not going with her. I don't care if she is hot. I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care what you say afterwards. I don't care about any of that stuff. If I do not like her, I do not have to go with her. Um, and on the flip side, if I do like a chick, and you interfere with me going with said chick, then we're gonna have a problem. Or I should say, you're gonna have a problem. I'm gonna have a problem solved after you get dealt with. Um, because there isn't a single person on this planet who's gonna tell me what to do with my junk. And I don't care what you've heard about me. I don't care what uh, you think I am. I make the decisions. And if you don't like that, then uh, I would prefer not to ever have to deal with you. But if I have to, then I ain't got no choice. Anyway, yeah, talked about a wide range of subjects in here, but it does mostly concern the member area in all its aspects. Um, Hmm. So, yeah, I'm not particularly worried about my future, but obviously there's going to be some challenges, and I'm ready to take them on. Uh, I'm one of those guys who's going to be the problem for other people. Uh, that is in the sense that they expected things from me and they're not going to get it, and because they've made all these decisions without even asking me, it, you know, you get what you deserve, and no more than that. And it will be me who decides what that is, not anybody else. Anyway, been rambling on for quite a while now, so I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. And for people whom I don't like, if you could kindly turn around, walk in a different direction, forget I ever existed, I would appreciate it. That's it. That's all I got. So I will talk to you people later. See ya.